Okay, today's video, I just wanted to talk about the older man's video that just came out. And I kind of had I don't know, I'm not scripting this video, so I might be all over the place. But let me just say that I watched the older man's video. Hi, Paul, how are you, sir? And I'm posting this to the Ask an Older Man membership page. And I was really surprised tonight because when you watch the Karen Strawn video and then the other video where they're breaking down feminism, I saw all those old videos probably back in 2012. And the only reason I remember very distinctly what happened and what brought me to the red pill the very first time was an old Reddit page that was made into a meme, or not a meme, but it was a Reddit page where it broke down where all these men who had been divorced had been through so much pain through their divorce, and when they go through the divorce and they saw how the women were treated in divorce court, how they were getting divorce raped, and they were basically just lambasting women, and they were just calling saying it's all women's fault and all this other stuff. And so they were, and that was the start of it. And then from that Reddit page, I think there was something on there about MRAs or something like that. And then I went and looked at some of the MRA stuff, and I was on YouTube. I just got out of jail, by the way, from my divorce, from when my ex-wife falsely accused me, and I lost my kid. I was divorced and been to jail. My reputation's ruined. I got a criminal record for domestic violence and other things. And so I was in a great deal of pain because I went to jail as an innocent man. And but that's a whole other story by itself. But basically, I came to the red pill the hard way. And the easy way actually is to just get a divorce and have your parental rights lessened, and you don't see your kids, and you get half your money took, you lose your house, you become a wage slave, and you go through all the things that come with that divorce. I wish, let me see, where's the camera at? I wish that's all that happened to me. I mean, to me, that sounds like paradise. I wish that's all that happened to me. I wouldn't be a broken man. And I may not seem broken, or maybe I do look broken, I don't know. I'm pretty happy right now, but I'm just saying, it really broke something inside of me going through all that. And to be honest, I don't think I would change anything, because knowing what I know now, I really feel like I'm the fortunate one by coming in to the red pill the hard way, because I got falsely accused by my ex in divorce back in 2003. And so I really feel fortunate that I learned this hard lesson, this painful. Listen, I've had broken bones. I've been in motorcycle accidents. I've been in car accidents. I've broken my hip. I broke my shoulder in a motorcycle accident. I cracked my skull in a fall. I've been to war. I've seen death. I've been shot at. I've been home invasioned. I've been beat up by gangs of people. When I was a kid, I was beat up by a gang of kids. I was beat up, bullied in school because I was a white kid living in a black neighborhood. I experienced a lot of racism towards white people. I'm not joking. I mean literal racism. I have been through, coming back from Iraq, and I went to go get a job as a janitor with the school district, and they told me no, because I'm a white guy, I can't get a job. They were only hiring black women or women of color. I was beat up because I was white. One time I got beat up by a gang of black kids when I was living in South Sacramento. I lived in a place called, you may want to look it up, but there's a place called Oak Park in Sacramento. And then even more ghetto than Oak Park was a place called The Gardens. in South Sacramento. Maybe you could look it up online. You can see that it is a very bad part of the neighborhood. So I grew up in that bad neighborhood. And at that time, I remember we were learning about Black History Month, and I was a white kid, and and so I was eating up black, because I was going to school with black people. I like black girls. I like black people. I never was racist ever at all in my life. And so I was walking down the street going to my first job. I think I was about 15 and a half. I got my first job, and I'm walking down the street, and I see these 12 black guys coming towards me. And I had learned in Black History Month that it really will offend black people if you clutch your purse or hold your wallet or cross the street when you see them coming. So I was like, oh, I don't want to hurt these black people's feelings. So I just went in and walked straight, and they robbed me of my watch, my shoes, and the $2 I had in my pocket. And I really felt betrayed because I was told that black people don't rob people and they're not racist, and that being white, I was an oppressor. I was learning all this stuff like in 1983. So I really felt betrayed by the information I was getting, and that sort of ties into how I felt about this whole feminism thing, and like when you get taught that you have rights and that everyone's equal. So can you imagine back in 2000? Excuse me. So can you imagine back in 2003? I'm blue pilled as hell. I'm at home. My wife and I are having problems, big problems, bigger problems than I thought we had. And I remember I discovered that she had stolen, my wife was very abusive towards me, and I was so blue pill. Plus, I was cheating on her and all kinds of stuff. I was in my 20s, and my wife was beautiful, and she's from from a home where the woman was dominating, and her mother-in-law, my mother-in-law. Anyway, that's another story. So when I came home one day and found that she had stolen, I just got lucky or unlucky and found out she had stolen like $20,000, and because I went to the mailbox first and found the money was missing and was put into an account in Kansas where her parents live. She was going to leave me. And so she was taking all our assets and all our cash and funneling it home. Now, this is after I had supported the family, bought us a big house. I was the workhorse for the two of us, and got us all this nice big house in the suburbs. And I was a manager at my job. And then she got a job working real estate. This is before the bubble back in 2008. So this was like 2003. And she started making six figures like that. She went from working like a $8 an hour dental office job, working part-time so she could stay at home with the kid, with our son, to making six figures. And that was a lot back in 2003. Like, she was making over $150,000 like within a few months of getting a real estate license. Because remember, the bubble, if anyone's old enough to remember, the bubble, the real estate market was bad. And she was committing real estate fraud, I found out. She ended up losing her real estate license because my wife is a liar, and my ex-wife, I mean. Anyway, so that's a whole nother story. Then I called the cops on her. I called the cops on my wife because she stole all this money. Now, if you look at the wheel of abuse that they tell you what is considered domestic abuse is, and one of those is financial. But of course, the cops couldn't help me because it wasn't illegal what she did. It's our money. We're married, and my wife started threatening me, saying that she was going to do something to me. She wouldn't say what it was, but I told the cops. I called the cops. Listen, this is all public record. Not that anyone's going to check me, but I try not to get on here and say anything that would ever bite me. Listen, I'm not famous, obviously. I'm nobody. And so, but let's say if I were famous and I was a politician, or if I was making some kind of false claims, you could easily bust me with facts if I was lying about it. So when I tell you, there is public record of me calling the police 2 times on my ex-wife. And then the third time she called and she falsely accused me of rape and domestic violence and kidnapping, just completely false accusations. It was when we were separated, and we were going to exchange our son. But she had planned on setting me up for this false rape thing. It was deep. Listen, I'm not joking. That's a whole nother story, and I can tell it, but it's unbelievable. But I have all the receipts. It's on public record. I have polygraphs that I took. I have the whole thing is police records in Sacramento, California. If anyone ever wanted to fact check me, it would. And if they were to do a deep dive, of course, no one's going to do that. But if they did, it's all there. So anyway, so can you imagine? So can you imagine? I went into divorce court, which is making these false claims, and I was confident as hell. I was like, none of this stuff is true. Now, all my friends knew I was never abusing her, but I didn't know that she had already, even before that, had already been participating in what do women do when they want to your reputation destruction, when they want to ruin you. She was at her job behind my back telling her coworkers that I was secretly abusive and that I've been beating her for years, that I've been punching her in the face. I mean, completely fabricated stuff. And so, and listen, and because all my friends and that knew us both, all our friends and family that knew, including my own family, no one even came to my defense, because they're like, oh, well, all that stuff's not true, and you're going to go to court. We don't need to go in there and testify that she's been doing all this bad stuff, because don't worry about it. You're innocent. And I was like, yeah. And I went in there without an attorney, walked in there and said, Your Honor, she has no evidence of this abuse. It's all a lie. And right away, my son, he was 5 at the time. Right away, my son was taken from me. And I don't want to talk about too much of this stuff because it hurts to think about, and or even talk about it, because I don't talk about this very much. And listen, I don't even blame. Listen, responsibility is responsibility. Who's ever responsible for it, it's there to blame. My wife has to blame on her shoulder for taking the lies, but I don't even blame my ex-wife anymore. Because the system is such that they allowed it. Like they were too happy to cooperate with whatever she said, and even the police in my case, because they arrested me without probable cause, and the cops knew that they had arrested me without probable cause. So what the cops do? They went and lied to the DA and said that I was arrested in a high-speed chase. That never happened. There was never I know this sounds all over the place, but she made accusations. I was like 2 miles away. Police made contact with me. I went, and I thought they were there for me, to help me. And I said, oh man, because my wife we had just had an altercation at the park where she ran over my foot with the car. So I was actually glad the police showed up. I'm thinking somebody called the police for me. Maybe somebody saw it. My foot's broken. So the police, when they arrested me, they wouldn't let me make a statement, and they lied in the police report and said that I was in a high-speed chase. And even though I had evidence later on that I didn't know I had a broken foot at the time. That was the main thing that happened, was I didn't know I had a broken foot. You wouldn't know. I got run over by a 5,000-pound SUV, Ford Expedition. It takes that time, and it's just such a unique injury that it takes that type of weight and a soft tire rolling off over cement. So my injury was completely provable in court, but the problem was I had to get doctors to come testify, and the cops had already lied in my case and said that I was in a high-speed chase. Then when I go to pretrial, I'm in a wheelchair at pretrial, and the cops admit in pretrial that they made a mistake, even though they clearly lied. There was no high-speed chase on dispatch. There was never a call 911 saying I was in a high-speed chase. There was no record of it, and there wasn't. I even had a witness at the area that I had been there for. She was a nurse that worked for the county, and she even wrote that she was there helping me because I was injured. So the judge, and this was my further red pilling, is that I sat there and I watched the judge and the district attorney and the cops all work in unison to railroad me. And even my own attorney did nothing to help me. So the cops just got busted lying on the stand. They admit that there's no high-speed chase, and I was being charged with rape. I was being charged with kidnapping, child endangerment, every type of essay you can imagine. I was being charged, like 5 or 6 charges. And it was all stemming from the arrest, the probable cause, because there's no evidence. The probable cause was he was in a high-speed chase. So by law, correct me if I'm wrong, if anyone knows about this, when you arrest somebody on a probable cause and then that probable cause gets thrown out, the rest of the charges are supposed to go away. They had no cause to arrest me. But the judge sat there with a straight face. I remember I was sitting in court, and the judge said, okay, I'm going to drop the high-speed chase. Obviously, it never happened. Mr. Berry, sometimes cops make mistakes. And he totally covered for the guy. I was like, okay. And I'm thinking, okay, well, good. Let's just drop all these other nonsense charges. I'm a rapist and all this other stuff. And let's get out of here. Like, what is it? I want to see my son. I need to get back to divorce court. And the judge said, but we're going to continue to do continue the charges for child endangerment, rape. I'm like, how? There's no evidence. And the biggest one was a child, because see, I have a restraining order that says I can't see my son, and it's all stemming because somehow I caused some kind of child endangerment to my son. My wife runs me over with him in the car, and then I'm charged with injuries. It's so crazy that I can't. So anyway, I don't, that whole story. Listen, I've already taken a polygraph with the state of California. My polygraph says I never did any of these things. The polygraph supports me, and then of course later on, after I took the polygraph, I asked the state of California, "Hey, give me a copy of that," right? And after I'd already been to jail, I've already taken a deal. I had to take a plea bargain on the deal because they kept charging me with all the charges, and when I saw that type level of corruption right there in my face at pretrial, and my attorney was telling me, "Yeah, they get juries, and juries going to come in, they're going to say that you did all this bad stuff, and there's no evidence on these sides, your word against hers." Because we haven't had the doctor testify yet, although he did call the district attorney and said, yeah, Mr. Berry's injuries are consistent with a rollover tire. So obviously he was the one that was injured, and the district attorney simply ignored it. She wouldn't call him back. So they were going to push me into a trial that would cost me $100,000 that I didn't have because my wife has restraining orders on me. I can't sell the house, so I'm basically broke and can't defend myself. So I ended up taking a plea bargain, which is what a lot of men do. They get forced into these plea bargains, and then you can't defend yourself. And then I'm looking at 100 years of prison time. Oh, so they offer me this lowly corporal injury to. So they offer me a corporal injury to a spouse, right? I'm the one that's injured, but have to take the deal for corporal injury to a spouse. She's never had an injury a day in her life. I've never abused my wife. I've never hit her, never done anything to her physically or mentally for that matter. And that was the upside down red pill, right? Because the red pill doesn't go in the mouth, guys. The red pill goes up it's a suppository. It goes up your ass. And so that was my red pill. So I had to go to jail. I had to be on parole. I had my reputation's ruined. I can't make a living. I can't get a job. My record is so bad that I basically, matter of fact, it was so bad that when I went because I'm a veteran, when I went in to get to ask them, somebody said, hey, you should go to the VA and get a disability for PTSD. And I was like, I tried to get help for that before, but it was to prove it is too high. When I went in this time, I actually have PTSD. And when I went in there and I told, for my time in war, but when I went in there and I told this VA doctor all the things that had happened to me, and I had receipts, and I was a mess, they approved me like that. Do you know how hard it is to get 100? I have 100% compensation for PTSD. Do you know how hard that is to get? That is still hard. You have to prove and I had so much proof that it was so overwhelming, and plus the guy felt sorry for me. He was like, man. And they gave me 100%. So I've been retired for the last 10 years because I can't get a job. So that was one of the reasons why. So can you imagine? I took the red pill. I'm still young enough to where I can create a family, but I just sit on it for like 10 or 15 years. I do nothing. I don't date that many women. I'm not just thinking about another family. I still haven't seen my son since he's 7. And that was the original reason why I started this channel, was so I could keep in contact with my son. I was trying to, every year, several times a year, I make videos to my son saying, hey, hey son, it's me. And But he's so brainwashed and alienated from his mom, because she had custody of him that entire time, that he thinks he hates me. And I talked to him one time. He did call me, because I did get in contact with him one time at his mom's house. I found out her address after I got off parole, went over there. And he claims to hate me. And I said, well, why do you hate me? What did I do to you? Oh, you're just a bad dad. So after years of trying to get in contact with him, I just finally gave up. And I haven't given up still. Maybe one day he'll take the red suppository and he'll figure it out that his mom's been lying to him all these years. But who knows? Look how long it took me. And I found out that my mom did the same thing to my dad. So this is what I've watched these Karen Strawn videos. I've been knowing about this feminism. I've been knowing about this for years and years and years. And there was one time, even back in 2015, I thought about making a YouTube channel talking about this stuff. But then I got online and I saw all the red pill content creators who did a great, fantastic job. There's so many. Look, you got Ask an Older Man. Just look at YouTube. It is filled with all this red pill knowledge. And I just thought, I felt a little bit defeated. Like, I can't compete with that. These guys are polished. I have no training. All I have is my phone. I play with this little app edit thing on my phone. I like to make videos and I like to, do that kind of stuff, but I'm not skilled at it. So I never did this. So it just surprises me that people like Ask an Older Man, Paul, he's just now seeing these videos. I was shocked that he just now saw those videos. I thought for sure this was all old hat to him. But see, Ask an Older Man, or Paul, is very, very smart. He's a very critical thinking, rational man, and I'm not that smart. I'm not trying to be self-deprecating. I just know who I am. I know I have this knowledge, but I'm not very good about putting in a comprehensible way, or a way that's easy to digest in a simple format and to teach other men. Plus, I feel like my life is such a mess. Who would listen to me? If anyone ever did, he's got a criminal record and he's this and that, and he's been accused of woman beating, and can you imagine if all that just got exposed on me? And then I would be ridiculed. I don't want to be famous. Like, I don't want to be a famous YouTuber that would. So even if I wanted to do it, I wouldn't want to be. People would come out of the woodwork and they would blast me. And I already have a criminal record, a public record. It's already bad. So I'm between a rock and a hard place. So what I did was, so now I've just got to be the soldier. I'm the guy that's young enough. I'm 54, but I'm the guy that's young enough, because I've been trying to search for a partner for I just now found a partner to have a baby with and start over, make a new family, and because I love being a parent, And that was the reason why my ex-wife was able to hurt me so bad, because I love being a dad and I love my son. And she knew that my son was like the most important thing in my life. Like, it really inspired me to do better in life. And I mean, I'm not saying I was perfect. I wasn't perfect. I've had a drug problem in the past. I did have something minor on my criminal record before, but that's a whole nother issue. I'm not a criminal. I'm not a dishonest person or anything like that, but I've made mistakes, And so she was able to weaponize the justice system against me to the point where I can't get a job, but I don't have any skills to make money. So, but now that I have enough money to live, so what I did was I just said, okay, well, since I can't teach red pill content, so let me just be let me apply my knowledge. And so I wasn't going to do it in America. There's no way I would ever get married in America or try to have a family over there, because of the family court system. And with my record, I'd be toast. So I said, well, I made a calculated, reasoned, critical thinking approach to it, and said, where can I go in the world to where feminism isn't as bad, to where I can meet a woman who makes much less than I do. So if you want to say I'm taking advantage of poor African women, I guess you could probably say that. I am taking advantage. I'm taking the advantage of what I have here in Africa, and that is, I'm with a woman who doesn't make very much money. She makes like $800 a month. It's not even like maybe $10,000 a year. I make 5 times that. So I could be the breadwinner. I don't have to work. She works. she's a doctor, veterinarian. So she's highly educated. But I'm in the leadership position, so her hypergamy is satisfied that I'm the breadwinner. I know she doesn't see me work, but I stay home. But that's the advantage. I could be home with our kid. Our kid is never gonna have to go to daycare. I'm stable. I'm sane. I'm a good man, and I think she's quite happy with me. And we've been together for 2 years. And I'm not. I have no illusions. I mean, she could leave tomorrow, or maybe she gets dissatisfied with me at some point, or maybe she wants to take our daughter and leave. I'd be okay. I would accept it immediately. Like I have this power of indifference now. My heart can't be hurt anymore, and I'm in a safer environment where she doesn't have an incentive to leave me. If she leaves me, she's going to be giving up 5 times her salary. She's going to be giving up a dad that's going to be in her child's life. So she has all reasons not to leave me, even if she does get a little bored of me, because I'm kind of a boring guy. Every day I get up, I take my dog for a walk, our dog, take it for a walk. I come home, I play video games, I relax. There's not that much really to do, so it's very boring, uneventful life. So that's another reason why I'm having trouble with this YouTube channel. I'm thinking about content that I can even make. Excuse me. So, but if it all fell apart tomorrow, I'd accept it. I mean, there's nothing more after going to war, going through prison, falsely accused. I've been through things that would make other lesser men delete, and I never did it. Like, I was strong. I'm strong. I'm a strong person to deal with. I know that I am. But I'm still stuck between a rock and a hard place. So I had to sacrifice. Listen, Africa is a shithole. I don't like living here. I mean, it's not that bad, but I'm saying I would much rather. I wish I could live in America. I wish I could have a wife and kids in America. I wish I could feel safe in America. I wish the culture wasn't so bad, but over here, I live in a place where I got to worry about malaria. The roads are shit. The infrastructure is terrible. The weather's always hot, But that was the sacrifice I had to make in order to come over here and make a family. And I know a lot of red pill guys, because I was MGTOW and I was a monk for a little while. And I know some of the guys that are in the red pill community, like Messenger Rising, Turf Flinging Monkey. I did a podcast with him and told my whole story. These guys probably think I'm trying to be plugged back in and be in blue pill, and I'm not. Like, there's nothing. I've already rode motorcycles. I've already fucked a bunch of women. I've already soiled my oats. I've already been around the world. To me, there's no more satisfying of a thing than it is to raise children. I was just looking at my daughter tonight, and I was just like, I just felt full of this feeling of purpose and this deep love for another person outside of myself that I would do anything for, and that's my daughter. So I have that again, and so yeah, I'm gonna be 70 something years old by the time she's 20. But I did another video about this. I said, hey, you know what's great about being an older dad is that you get to die when your kids are like 20. And then you don't have to worry about it. You just leave their inheritance, and you don't have to worry about they ever dislike you later on in life. There's definitely drawbacks, but I'm still young enough to where if my health stays the way it is, or if I can live for another 20 years, I'd be happy with that. I know I'm going to die someday. I accept that. I'm not scared of it. I'm not scared of very many things. I got home invasion here in Cote d'Ivoire 2 years ago, or a year and a half ago. I had a video on my channel about that. I had a man come in the house, and being to war, going to war, and being an ex-soldier, and going to prison. I'm not scared of anybody. I mean, when this guy came in, I just went into autopilot. I ran, got a knife, and I had a confrontation with the good dude. I forced him out of my house at night point. And afterwards, I was like, oh. Whoa. But at the time, I felt no fear. I just react. I just did. I didn't. And of course, Michelle was right there. She jumped in the middle of this. She doesn't realize how dangerous of a situation it was. But so I know that I have what it takes to protect my family. But I know that if I were to get falsely accused over here, and I was falsely accused in Nigeria, well, briefly, but but when she tried that, when the girl that, because she knew about my past, so she tried to use my past against me. And I have that on video too. If it's on my channel, I have video of her hitting me, and then her calling the police, and then the police came out and they saw the video and they immediately took my side, because over here in Nigeria and in Cote d'Ivoire and Africa, they don't have that feminism crap where they just believe all women. And when the cops got there and I showed them the video of her hitting me, they immediately removed her from my. The guy, they were so nice. They treated me so well, and they immediately took my side, because they should have. I had actual video of her being the aggressor. But then, of course, that didn't stop her later on from her and her family then accusing me of rape, because they knew my past record. So, because I had to disclose it, because I tell people I'm in a relationship, hey, I got this record and it wasn't true. And I go the whole record, because I would never want to hide something from somebody. But the problem with that is I leave myself open for that type of abuse. And Michelle could do it too if she wanted to, but it won't fly here, because I video everything. I video all aspects of our relationship. And my criminal record doesn't follow me here. So only if I try to take her back to America. So anyway, that's my little thing about, I was just surprised that older men had never heard of those videos. That just shows me that whenever you're a normie, and I'm not saying older man is a normie, he's certainly not. He certainly is smart enough to figure all this stuff out, and he's smart enough to put it into a simple, easily to digest show that breaks down feminism and how women are, just this whole, feminism thing. They break it down so well. He does it, but even him, he's never even seen those videos from, like, those are old videos. And listen, the other point I want to make too, real quick, is that I think there aren't that many young guys watching these channels. I think it's all, listen, the demographic on these channels, if you look at everybody, all the men are in their 50s, 60s, and 70s watching these red pill content shows. So who are we talking to? Like, I'm not saying it doesn't do any good, and it's good to have the content out there, but look at the comment section. It's just old guys. It's all us old guys going, yep, I'm never getting married. I'm never doing this. I'm never doing that. Women, blah, 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 blah. So we're creating our own echo chamber. And I don't know what the answer is to reach younger guys, because I try to talk to I know a guy here I try to talk to about, he doesn't want to hear anything about feminism. He doesn't want to know anything about female nature. No, even my married friend in the United States, they think I'm crazy. Oh, you're just bitter. You're just... Nobody, if they've never experienced this themselves, then the average guy is going to reject it. Most guys, 90. Look at these YouTube channels. Even if older man has 100,000 followers or 200,000 followers, that's a drop in the bucket of the world population. We're only giving the information. We're just comparing notes, us guys. But I don't know if it's waking anybody up. I'm kind of feeling nihilistic tonight for some reason. Anyway, that's it. That's all I want to say for now.